there's no doubt that Lorca is very famous. When I was a child or a very young person, his name was one of the first great poetic names I knew, and I read him with great pleasure. But his status hasn't diminished. He's still, I think, it's, you never know that when you get older, you don't know what other people think. But I think he still is very famous, and he's like the Spanish poet. I mean, Cervantes and Lorca, or Lope de Vega and Lorca. Although I've also loved Machado, but people don't know so much about Machado. I must say I don't know very well his work as a visual artist. I have to confess, it's probably the first time yesterday night I was looking at the show. So I think he will remain a poet for me. But it's always interesting to see the other work, but I'm not competent to judge.
If duende has any resonance to you, the concept of duende?
Oh yes, I love this idea and the concept, because we never know how to call this something. It's this mysterious force without which there will be no art. And people call it inspiration or muse. But I think the duende is one of the best names for it, and it really corresponds to something, not just in poetry, but in every art. There's something you cannot learn. You have to be maybe you can learn. In our democratic times, we shouldn't say so, that you cannot learn. But yes, it's a wonderful idea.
Actually, you have a poem called That Force, isn't it? A short poem.
Yes.
Is this about something similar to duende or something else?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I would have to quote the titles of, but both poems from a poet in New York and from the Romancero. I like this duality in Lorca, that he's at the same time very Spanish, or like gypsy poet, but he also has this other face of a kind of international modernism, and so both sides. I was 70 this year. When I was 60, 10 years ago, a friend of mine, a wonderful German writer and publisher, Michael Krieger, told me, so now you'll be writing poems of old age. I was 60. I said, what? Old age? Are you crazy? But now at 70, I still don't think I'm writing poems of old age. But so I don't think this particular book is written by an old guy. But it's well known that poets and artists, when they get older, they change something. Usually they simplify their style. So maybe I do, but I don't have this, I don't know this about myself, about my poem. But maybe they have already this simplification. But I never wrote in a very difficult style, so what should I simplify? I don't know.
I actually was going to say that the title, I think it would be more a title for you, symmetry, than an asymmetry, maybe.
Well, yes, but then it comes from one of the poems on my mother, and it refers to the asymmetry between. I realize that with our parents, there's so much we don't know about them with things that happened before we were born, that our image is always skewed, it's never symmetrical.
I see.
So that's the
meaning.
The meaning of, but I see a lot of asymmetry also, not just symmetry.
I know.
the name of Granada is so beautiful.
Yeah.